Friends, in this video, I'm going to show you uh, why we require cross-domain resource sharing filter to be added to our RESTful Java Web Service application. If you remember in the class when we were talking about creating an AngularJS client, which will call our RESTful Java Web Service, that is our student facade REST, our RESTful Web Service. Now, when I showed you this AngularJS module 2, actually, we already had our RESTful Java Web Service deployed and running on GlassWhisper server, but that was one application. So if you see the domain host of, rather the domain of that particular application was localhost as it was running on locally on our laptop. However, in real life, it would be having a domain name. The server would be having a domain name, and the port number of which of the port number for your web application was 8080. So if you see our RESTful Java Web Service called Student Portfolio Web was deployed on GlassFish server, and its location is localhost colon 8080. Now its domain is localhost and the port number is 8080. Now the point is, when we developed our AngularJS client application, which is going to call this RESTful Java Web Service, that application is a HTML file application using AngularJS framework. That application would be a separate web application, and it would be again deployed on local host and would be having a port number. By default, in this case, the port number is assigned is 8283. Both are separate applications. So now your RESTful Java Web Service would not by default allow this client application to access the resources. You need to add the permissions to do so. In order to add the permissions to do so, you need to add a resource filter, which is called as cross-domain resource sharing filter, which allows applications of other domain to access your RESTful Java Web Service. So I'm going to show you in this video how to do that. Let's assume that when you are viewing my AngularJS module 2 project, once you downloaded it from Blackboard and you are practicing or rather say studying the AngularJS module 2 project, in the project I have the student portfolio web, the RESTful Java Web Service application. Now this is the same application which is open here in my NetBeans. In this application, you need to make some changes if you want your AngularJS client application to be allowed or to access the RESTful web service from this application. You need to make some changes to this application so that all other applications from different domains can access it, can access your RESTful web service. So right click your project application name, student portfolio web, select new, and you can go to other. In the categories panel, select web services. File type is cross origin resource sharing filter. What does this do? The description is provided here. Creates cross origin resource sharing filter for RESTful web service which allows to access resources from different domains. So let's click next now. Once we have done this, don't change the class name, don't change anything, just select the package. The package here should be your entity classes in whichever package they are. You know, in the RESTful Java Web Service, when you created the application, it had two types of classes. One were your entity classes and the other were your service classes. I had put all my entity classes in this package, the Java package called edu.nsuni.entity. So we'll select that. And now here it says fill HTTP access control headers. Access control allow origin. If you want to allow only your web application, HTML5 application, which has the domain localhost colon 8383, then you can specify that domain name here, localhost colon 8383, or whichever is the other domain, as for example, say www.fau.edu. You can provide it the comma separated list here that these are the domains only which are allowed access to our RESTful web service. But here I am giving star, it means all the application domains would be allowed access to our RESTful web service. And the access control methods which are allowed, it means are these applications which are going to access the RESTful web service are allowed to get, post, put or delete, right? All the CRUD operations. So if you want to only restrict to allow read-only writes, we can allow control, access control, we can specify access control method only get, right? And then we can remove the others from the list. So no other, your HTML5 application won't be allowed to post any new data by using our RESTful web service. If we just allow get, it means it will be able to read the resource by using our RESTful web service. So we are going to keep this default settings. We're not going to change anything today. And once we finish it, your new cross origin resource sharing filter is added in my student portfolio web in the package entity. This is added. You can see here it's open here. We'll close this Java file, and the next thing which you have to do is you need to clean and build your application and simply deploy it after that. So now your HTML5 application, suppose you create your HTML5 application, or if you're viewing my AngularJS module 2 project, then it comes with the HTML5 application called Research Portfolio Client 1, which accesses the RESTful web service. So now this particular HTML5 application can access the RESTful web service because we added this cross-origin resource sharing filter, allowing all the domains to access our RESTful web service. I think this must be clear. If you still have any questions, post here on the blog, or you can send me an email. Thank you.